Hey everyone, hope you're doing good. Today I wanted to make a video talking about emotions. Yay, I know. So many of us hate talking about feelings and all the things that come with talking about feelings, but I think it's really important to talk about because there's somewhat of a barrier, I feel like, in our culture about how we talk about emotions. And a lot of times, if you're anything like me, there's a few emotions that you're like, I don't like those. So we're going to pretend that they don't exist. And then they come out in weird ways. And it's not fun for you, and it's not fun for anyone around you. So we're going to talk about emotions, and it's going to be great. Did you guys ever notice how generally like 99% of the time, if someone is like, hey, how are you? You're like, I'm doing good, I'm good. And then that's kind of it. And they're like, cool, how are you? Or you say that to them, I don't know. Anyway, we just generally say, how are you? Good. How are you? Good. And it feels weird to not respond with good. Like if you're going to respond with anything else, what would you even say? It's like, I'm good, I think. Or I'm good, but yeah, there's this going on. So when we ask the question, hey, how are you? Are we actually asking how they're doing? Do we want a genuine response? Do we feel comfortable giving a genuine response? And overall, I feel like we just don't have the language for it. Unless we're in a really deep conversation with someone who's safe for us. So anyway, all that to say, I run a group of teenage girls, and a lot of times every week we basically go through something that is considered a blind spot in our lives, or like a shadow area, something that's maybe running your life, you don't totally recognize what it is, but the goal of group is to uncover that. And what we do week one, before we do anything else, is talk about emotions and establish, here's this list of emotions that we're going to use the rest of group, and we can actually use these words. So here are the words. We use for emotions sad, angry, peace, hope, joy, anger, fear, tender, and shame. Should have probably just put the list in front of me. So we use those 9 emotions, and we check in and check out with them every single group. Well, the first group that we do, it's always really uncomfortable because it feels weird to say, yeah, I'm coming in here angry tonight, or I feel sad. That's not something we're used to saying. But here's where we get into what I want to talk to you guys about today, is that we have, just kind of intrinsically, without even realizing it, kind of this hierarchy of emotions, the ones that we're allowed to feel and the ones that we're like, ugh, I don't like those, I feel uncomfortable with those are off limits. And it really is different for everyone. For some people, they feel totally comfortable feeling peace, gratitude, joy. Gratitude's another one of those that we use. Peace, gratitude, joy, and that feels like the happy place. That's the happy place. We like to be there. And then there, for those people, are the emotions that are like, I don't like those because they're the sad place. Like sadness and anger and fear. And we just don't like to feel those. Or we feel bad feeling those. Or we feel shameful feeling those. So we kind of break them into those categories just naturally. Other people feel really uncomfortable feeling peace because they've never really experienced that in their life. Or they feel like anger is such a comfortable state of existence where feeling like gratitude or feeling joy might feel foreign. So what we always start off with in just setting the baseline is actually this idea that emotions, by their nature, are just neutral, okay? So anger isn't in and of itself bad. And sadness isn't bad. It's our life circumstances, it's our experiences, it's our perceptions that either assign good or bad to the emotions that we're feeling. So, for example, if you grew up in a family where everybody or some people were just really angry a lot of the time, and that anger came out on you, and you were the recipient of that anger, and you had decided, I never want to be like that, then you probably categorized anger in the that's a bad emotion category. And you probably try your best not to feel that thing. On the other hand, so that's where you've categorized it as bad. On the other hand, if you really think about times where anger has maybe positively propelled you, maybe there was a time when you saw an injustice, or you saw something that you were like, I really want to see a change here. And it spurred on in you kind of this righteous anger where you were moved into action, and maybe you did something about it, or you protected someone, or you defended someone. That was a good thing. And actually it was possibly led by anger, which you may have decided on the front end is bad. So that's just an example of how the emotion itself is neutral. And it's more our circumstances or our perceptions that drive how we see these things. So the reason this is important, so that's lesson 1, emotions are neutral. The reason it's important to start realizing that is because the longer we deal with and walk through life with this understanding of like, here's my good emotions, here's my bad emotions, I'm not going to feel the ones that I don't want to feel, therefore they're going to get shoved down and go into the deep place within me where I'm just going to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. That seems like it works, but it only works temporarily, and they are going to come out, and if you don't know how to deal with them in a way that's healthy, chances are these things are going to pop up in a really weird way. So for me personally, anger is totally one of those emotions that I, up until really recently, just didn't want to deal with. I'm like, I am the happy person, okay? I'm happy, and it's great. Well, surprise, I'm not always happy, and I get disappointed, and I get angry. That was a weird sound from my dog. But I have never known how to deal with anger until recently. So when anger would come up, 2 things would happen. I either shove it down and pretend it's not there and like fake that everything's okay, or when I experience anger, it just comes out in like, it comes out in like weird sadness, or it comes out with like lots of tears and like weird sad rage. And I only say weird because it feels weird to me. It felt disorienting. So all that to say, I've had to go through in my adult life a process of learning, okay, what does it look like to handle anger in a way that is healthy and in a way that understands, okay, anger isn't bad. Anger can inform me of something that's going on in my life. Just like happiness, gratitude, joy can be a tool that informs you. And all of your emotions can be a tool that informs you. And if you notice, okay, I'm feeling sad, instead of feeling guilty about feeling sad, or feeling like, something's wrong with you because you're feeling sad, start to be curious about your emotions and asking, okay, so what's going on in my world right now? And is this sadness actually tied to a circumstance? Why am I feeling angry? And then acknowledging those things. Those are parts of you that are so desperate to be heard, but if we feel uncomfortable with them, chances are we're just going to shove it and ignore it. So your emotions can very much inform your life, and you can start to almost befriend them and get curious about them instead of hiding from them. That's a really, really huge tip. I don't know how to emphasize that enough. When your uncomfortable emotion shows up, don't run away from it. Kind of inch closer to it and start to ask, okay, why am I feeling this way? And what is it that I'm feeling? Am I really feeling anger? Or am I feeling sadness? Or am I feeling fear? Okay, so to start to be able to differentiate them and kind of separate it out. And also, another thing is you can actually feel a lot of things at the same time. So in our group check-in, it's amazing when we have people say, I'm checking in with joy, fear, sadness, shame, and gratitude. And it's like, yeah, you can come into a situation with all of those things happening at the same time, but because we don't talk about emotions with actual words to describe them, that's where we get into the place where we're like, yeah, I'm doing good, I think. Yeah, I'm fine. And we just don't even know how we actually are doing. So anyway, that is something that I just want you guys to take away is emotions are neutral. don't run away from your uncomfortable emotions, inch towards them, and then finally just being able to ask the question, what's making me feel this way? Why am I feeling the emotions that I'm feeling? And then also understanding that you can feel many things at the same time. That actually happens. So yeah, that's just our word of wisdom for the day. All the feelings. Okay, bye.